everyone. It is a Wednesday, a hump day. We're doing the Humpty Dance. We're doing other things, but most importantly, it's a supernatural news and Parashare day. Hello, I'm your host, Tim Dennis, right here on this edition of Darkness Radio. We need a co-hostess, so I tell you what. Fresh off of a Missouri Paracon day, I'm going to go from the west to the east. I'm going to go to the state that looks like a mitten. I'm going to go right about here because this is the only part of my body that doesn't hurt. And we're good. I'm on video. I'm pointing to my hand, of course. And we're going to reach out to the co-hostess with the mostest, the pearl of the paranormal, the crown jewel, if you will. I know it makes me sound like I'm pimping her out. Ladies and gentlemen, Here she is, Mallie Fox. Mallie, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm just fine, my friend. Boy, oh boy, did you miss a good time this weekend?
I know. I was so jealous. It looked like everyone was having a blast.
It was a good time. I tell you what, we're going to have Jesse Leimkeuhler come in after the break today, and we'll break down this weekend. We'll tell you a little bit more about this weekend. But yeah, it was a wonderful time. Lots of old friends out there. I got to sit next to Amy Bruni and Adam Berry this weekend. So,
oh, they're so much fun.
Oh, yeah. And Amy's going to come on the show here a little bit in a few weeks. We're going to have Amy on.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So we'll talk about her latest book. It came out, of course, this past summer, but Food to Die For. She gave me a copy of it. And boy, you know what? I'm probably going to gain about 15 pounds with the food in that book. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. I liked the concept about the recipes from haunted places.
Yes. Yeah. And it is... just the Lizzie Borden meatloaf alone, I think I'm probably going to eat about 7 days straight because it looks so good. As I've gotten older, I love comfort food.
Oh God, yes.
And there's a cheesy meatloaf recipe I found that I have to stay away from now. I don't know. Have you ever heard of a cheesy meatloaf where it's almost like a Juicy Lucy where you put the cheese in the middle?
Yep.
Oh God.
Delish.
I know. And
lush.
It's everything I can do not to make it, right? On a daily basis. Right.
Especially with the side of mayonnaise. Side of mashed potatoes.
Yeah. Oh, if you get some garlic mash.
That is comfort.
Oh, you get some garlic mash in there, you're done, right?
Oh.
Right. So now we've digressed into food talk, but we're going to.
Always do. We should have a cooking show. I'm serious, because the way you and I talk about food.
I'm telling you.
And the noises we make when we're eating it.
Right. It's almost obscene.
It's like porn, food porn.
Food porn. There you go. Ghostly food porn talk. That could be
with our moans and groans.
Yeah. Could be something. Don't know other show take that now.
Yeah,
I don't know what the hell that was.
Copyright it now.
That's right. But this book, Food to Die For, holy cow, is it full of good stuff. I paged through it when I got it home, and I'm still reading through it now, and lots of good stuff. We have a big week this week. We've got I'll tell you this much. I teased it with Jess earlier that we have two old friends coming on tomorrow. But tomorrow we have Katrina Weidman and Heather Taddy.
Oh, I love them.
Yeah. So we've got them coming on to talk about Travel the Dead. So
we
got a big month this month, Jess.
You do.
Mallie, Jess, whoever you are. No, I'm telling you, it was a long weekend, short week.
You're like, you got boobs. You're either one.
Oh, no. It's not like that. We've got a lot of heavy hitters coming up.
Good.
And then this past weekend, Richard Estep introduced me to an amazing author who we're going to have on the show too, who has an amazing concept, and her husband's great too. Her name's Erin, and she's written a couple of books that she's already forwarded to me about haunted bathrooms.
Oh my gosh.
Is that a concept or what?
That's a good concept.
She's coming on the program.
Like, what's her favorite one?
You wouldn't believe it. Okay, just the minutia behind haunted bathrooms. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't believe it. So she's going to come on the program. Her husband does these. Okay, so on their table, their table is right near mine.
Okay.
Her husband does these. He has this company where he does these different 3D printed things, but they're not just 3D printed things. They're amazing works of art. He had a Wolverine helmet where the fins came off magnetically, and he'll print it to your head size. And I'm like, dude, my entire paycheck is coming to you from now on. He also had a Deadpool helmet that he'll print to your head size.
Oh.
And I was like, how much? And he said $90. And I went, only $90? So the 10-year-old in me is going, ah.
Right, exactly.
Right?
You just got your allowance. What can I spend it on?
That's right. That's it right there, right? I'm like, I'll just send you everything I have, if that's okay. It just, can I Venmo you my entire pay? Yeah. Yeah, it was such an amazing weekend. Again, kudos to both Jesse Leimkeuhler and Brad Blair for putting together Missouri Paracon. It's one of those things where you know you're a part of something special. You know something special is about to happen. When you walk in, you go through the weekend, and you're like, you know what? The people who decided they were going to just wait it out and wait for everybody else to say something about it, boy, did you miss out. I mean, you just missed out. So you'll have another shot next year. They've announced dates, but don't sleep on it. Don't sleep on it.
Now you make me feel bad. My intention was to go, but stuff happened.
Oh no, I know. And some people have life events that happen. I get it. I mean, there's that, but boy, I mean, for an inaugural year, it was something special. I'll tell you.
Well, and you said the hotel was beautiful.
Oh, gorgeous.
It was like you're in Vegas.
Yeah. Gorgeous. There's something funny that people noticed about the carpets, though, in the hotel.
I saw a picture, and it looked like there was a big blood stain.
Yes. And it was actually,
like, what is that?
It was actually
Red rum?
a very talented friend of ours who noticed that the carpets looked like blood stains. So she took everybody up into the hotel and did photographs of murder scenes.
Oh, that is brilliant.
Yeah. So
because it reminded me of like The Shining, because it was a wonky pattern, and then you had the red splotches.
Yeah. So I'm anxious to see these photos.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
Yeah. And it takes a brilliant mind to notice that. But yeah. But she noticed, she said that they looked like blood splatter, like huge blood splatters in the hallway. Yeah. So she started posing people in these blood splatters. So, yeah.
Well, we'll have to see if she does it next year, because then you can have like people dressed up like the twins from The Shining and just kind of lay there with the...
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. Right. So
I'll get the little tricycle thing, the big wheel.
Oh yeah. That'd be fun. So again, we have Jesse Leimkeuhler coming up after the break, and we'll talk a little bit more about Missouri Paracon out there in Kansas City, and boy, I tell you, next year is going to be even bigger and better. So lots of good stuff out there, though. Boy, the food was good out there too. Man,
did you say there was dates or not yet?
There are dates. Yes. Yeah. I believe it's, don't quote me. We'll talk more with Jesse, but I think it's February 26th through the 28th next year.
Okay. So it's the end of February. Yeah. Ooh, belated birthday present for me.
There you go. End of February. See?
Yeah.
There you go. Did I miss your birthday and not wish you a happy birthday?
I don't know. I was blessed and had so many, and I try to answer individually, but I might have missed some, because you know how like it jumps. You know, when you're looking on Facebook.
Yeah, I know.
But so to be honest, I don't remember if you did or not.
I know, yes.
No, I think you did. You did. Yeah.
Are you sure?
You did. Now that I think about it, because I answered the people that responded on your message. Yes, you did. You were very kind and did.
Thank you. Okay. Whew. I thought, oh my gosh, was I a heel?
No, because I think you personally did, and then I think Darkness Radio did.
Okay, good.
But then, I have brain fog, so I could completely forget stuff. But no, you did.
Oh, that's right, I did. Okay.
Yes.
I know it was.
You love me.
I do. I know that yesterday was our good friend Katrina Weidman's birthday.
Ah.
Yeah. So I know it was her birthday
awesome.
yesterday. She is. She's wonderful. She's a sweetheart. I'll give you a little insight into tomorrow's program.
Okay.
I love Heather Taddy to death. She is the most prepared person in the world. Mm-hmm. She messaged me 2 weeks ago asking what we were going to talk about tomorrow. I'll give you a little insight, folks. I am one of the most prepared interviewers in the world. I have no idea what I talk about 2 weeks before an interview. Just so you know.
Maybe she likes just to get things organized in her brain.
Oh, she does. She does. She's very prepared. In fact, when we did that panel at Michigan Paracon, she cornered me the minute I walked in the door and asked what we were talking about.
I like that.
And I said, darling.
Because I would do the same thing.
I said, darling, we're going to let the good times roll. I don't know yet.
Yeah.
Let me think about it.
Yeah. I wouldn't do 2 weeks in advance, but at least a couple of days, because that way I could have some key points. Because I'm all over the place, so it's nice to have a little outline.
Well, I kind of, I sat and I thought about it about a week or two ahead of time, and I had a little outline in my head, but I wanted to get there, and I wanted to get a feel for the room, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
And I knew because it was Mike Ricksecker, it was Shane, and it was Heather, and I wanted an idea after getting all of them in a room together before we actually hit the stage, who had a feel for what.
Okay.
And I know Mike can talk. I've had Mike on the show a few times now. And so I knew if I added 2 elements to that talk, I could get him to carry it, right?
Okay.
If the other 2 didn't feel comfortable. And that's exactly what happened. Because the other 2, there was it wasn't that they weren't comfortable, put it that way. They were very comfortable, but I found 2 things that were coming up in a book that Mike was going to release that he just took and ran with.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he could carry the lion's share of the work. But everybody got their chops, and put it that way.
Right.
So, but I find roundtables fascinating because you can, you can get a certain dynamic out of people, and how you can mix and match parts and get them, everybody to work in a certain dynamic. So, and you can push certain buttons and get people to go. So, yeah. It's kind of, I know I'm getting off track here. We should get to our news today, but I kind of laughed when Heather asked me 2 weeks out, you know what we're talking about? Which seasons we're talking about? Are we talking about the current season? What are you going to ask about the current season?
Right. Aw.
Ooh, Heather, if you knew how much work I already have on my plate.
You need an assistant.
Yeah, I do. It's just, no, darling, we don't know yet. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. I said, we're mainly going to talk about the new season, but we'll specifics not yet. Not yet. Give me a minute. That's all. But yes, tomorrow, Katrina and Heather Taddy. So there you go.
Very cool. That'll be fun.
Yes, most definitely. But as far as today goes, boy, have we got some interesting stories. Not only do we have some celebrity UFO news, we have interesting psychic and ghosty news today. And we have some interesting AI news, which is a little out of the ordinary too, that we'll talk about. Also, death pools from the Red Sea have been found. I'm not talking Deadpool like a superhero that I was just talking about. I'm talking death pools have been found. And there's a new bill proposed to make Bigfoot California's official state cryptid.
Okay.
So we'll talk about that today. And if you think my stress level might have come down after being in Missouri, there's a new study that links paranormal beliefs to increased stress levels. So just listening to this program may cause your stress level to go up. So
I'm never getting my cortisol level down.
I thought the whole cortisol level thing was BS until I started looking at what it does to my sugars. And you know what? I can't believe what it does.
Yeah.
Cortisol raises my sugar levels by 60, 70 points.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, like on a daily basis at night. So I had no idea. I got to start doing drugs or something, Mallie.
Yeah.
Mallie.
But then supposedly watching horror movies, you burn calories.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know how that works if paranormal raises your stress, but then watching horror movies burns calories.
You know what else is interesting? I started doing my DDP yoga again a couple weeks ago.
I need to start up yoga.
And that releases cortisol.
Yeah. Yep.
Because you're burning fat. And when you burn fat, cortisol releases, right? Mm-hmm. My blood sugar goes up after exercise.
Because it's stress.
Yeah.
Your body's like, I'd rather be lying down with a long straw and a milkshake.
Right. Oh, which, by the way, they have a burger joint. It's called the Burger Joint inside the casino there at Missouri Paracon.
Yeah.
Man, they made an espresso milkshake.
Oh, two of my favorites.
Mallie. This thing was sinful. It was so good.
Shamrock Shake's coming out soon, isn't it? Because of St. Patty's Day?
I think it's out.
Ooh, I'm going to have to go get myself one. Get a dirty leprechaun.
Well, I think that's separate from the Shamrock Shake.
But I think it's when they add chocolate.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah, I think it's called a dirty leprechaun.
So you have, what if it isn't?
Or I just created a name by myself.
I think you did.
When they look at me each time, I'm like, the one with the mint into the chocolate.
I think he's in the back cooking fries, but sure, we'll bring him out for you. Is there something I can do for you, Ross?
Kids, you'll be like, Mallie got with the dirty leprechaun.
Yeah, but she got a free Shamrock Shake out of the bit.
Hey. Lifetime supply, baby.
That's right. They gave her a free gold card. We don't know how she got it, but
I found my pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
And it's at McDonald's.
Yeah. Hey, my last name.
Yeah. Ba. She's loving it. Anywho.
Sorry, we digress again.
That's okay. Yeah, but hey, I may go get me a dirty leprechaun too. Be the first time for everything, right?
Might need to Google it.
I think I have to. Yeah, just to make sure.
I thought it was called the dirty leprechaun, but maybe I'm wrong, and I was just calling it the wrong thing the whole time. Like, oh God, here she is again.
She keeps asking for a dirty leprechaun.
Do you have the McDonald's app? Nope, but I would like a dirty leprechaun.
If you would. They're like, I don't know what she's talking about. Just give her whatever she wants.
Yeah, exactly. Just add some brown to the green. We're good.
Add some brown to the green and we're good. Oh, good God. It's got to be fun to be your kids in the back of the family truckster.
They call them, well, yeah.
They're like, anyway. God, Mom's doing it again. Jesus. We're not going to be able to show our face in school.
She's brought over the Mallieism to our neck of the woods.
We can't ever show our face at McDonald's again. Meanwhile, there's a tired worker at the fry station.
Yeah.
Anywho, news. There's a dirty leprechaun at the government. No, it turns out, according to blackvault.com, that FOIA, or Freedom of Information Act, released emails mention an alleged triangular UAP photo. Here's the scary thing about this story, Mallie. It turns out the government is actually listening to shows like this.
Hello.
Hi, government.
Yeah, welcome.
Welcome in. You just learned about dirty leprechauns. A former UAP task force director has spoken out as a result. Newly released documents obtained by the Black Vault through the Freedom of Information Act under Case 21F0299 reveal email exchanges within the Department of Defense discussing a photograph reportedly showing a triangular unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAP, emerging from the ocean. The FOIA request was originally filed in December of 2020. Along with these documents, John J. Stratton, former director of the UAP task force, has now spoken exclusively to the Black Vault about this claim, offering brand new clarification that no such photograph depicting a triangular craft emerging from the ocean was ever received by the UAPTF. The long-rumored photograph question gained significant attention following a December of 2020 article by The Debrief, which described an extremely clear image of a large triangular object with rounded edges and white spherical lights in each corner. According to the article, the photograph was allegedly taken in 2019 by an F-18 fighter pilot after the object emerged from the ocean and ascended vertically. The story quickly became one of the most talked about pieces of evidence that the DoD was allegedly withholding, with references by public figures such as Luis Elizondo, which fueled widespread discussion across social media. The FOIA released emails were dated December 3rd and 4th of 2020, and they showed internal communication within the DoD discussing the debrief article. In one email addressed to Susan Gao, her name is redacted in the to line, but not in the body of the email. Someone with the name redacted from the Deputy Chief of Naval Operations Office states, Jay Stratton tells me the photo is part of the active investigation, so it would be withheld from release for that reason. The information in this email, which was conveyed to Go in 2020 from Stratton himself, appeared to be, to confirm the existence of the triangle UAP photograph. However, Stratton's recent statement to the Black Vault directly addresses this assumption. The quote is, at the time of this email exchange, the story in the debrief and the claim that the FA-18 pilot had provided a photograph of a triangle emerging from the ocean, I was handling multiple cases. When asked about it, especially on an unclassified system, I was aware of what the debrief was reporting while also managing other investigations, some of which could have been conflated with this claim. We had photographs from an F-18 pilot or pilots, instances of UAP that appeared triangular or pyramidal. That's a hard word. And other unrelated cases. Given the circumstances, I was limited in what I could discuss at the time, Stratton explained. He also added, to prevent years of speculation and misinterpretation of emails taken out of context, I want to clarify explicitly, no such photo was ever provided to us by an FA-18 pilot showing a triangle emerging from the water. This statement is simply meant to ensure accuracy on this specific detail, not to challenge or critique the debrief's reporting. Tim McMillan, the author of the debrief's original article, provided additional context to the Black Vault. In 2020, the idea that the U.S. government was formally investigating UAP was still shocking. The information reported, including the description of some of the images, came from multiple sources with direct access to early UAPTF intelligence documents. I remain confident in the accuracy of the information shared, he went on to say. McMillan further elaborated that the early UAPTF intelligence reports were widely distributed among DoD component branches, federal agencies, and allied intelligence services. According to McMillan, the sourcing for the Fast Movers article was robust, involving individuals who had no prior involvement in the UFO topic, but were stunned to see official government briefings on UAP. McMillan added the information reported in the Fast Movers article, including the description of some images, early assessments, and interest in transmedium UAP, came from multiple sources that had direct access to these early UAPTF intelligence documents. I'm sure a lot of people assumed these sources were the usual UFO suspects, otherwise known as Lou Elizondo, Chris Mellon, etc. However, that couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, I'm not even sure Mellon or Elizondo even knew about those intel documents prior to my article. That article had some expert sourcing. However, it all came from people who had no involvement or interest in UAP prior or since. They were primarily willing to talk about it because it was the first time they'd ever seen anything related to UFOs or UAP being distributed through official channels, and they were stunned. Since the publication of the debrief's article, the rumored triangular UAP photograph has remained a focal point of discussion within the UFO community. However, Stratton's latest comments suggest these claims are based on misinterpretations. When asked why they did not correct the record at the same time, Stratton stated, "Keep in mind that's an email on an unclassified system. I don't recall if I corrected it on a separate system at the time, but generally there was no formal process for publicly addressing inaccuracies related to potentially classified reporting. Engaging with speculative reporting was neither standard practice, nor was it always feasible." Other notable documents in the 88-page FOIA release, which is available on theblackvault.com, and we can link to that so you can see it, include extensive media inquiries regarding the roles of AATIP or AA-TIP and AAWSAP, with several journalists questioning The involvement of Luis Elizondo and clarifications sought about Navy reporting protocols and UAP sightings. Emails also discuss inquiries into claims related to the Drake equation and its connection to AA tip, highlighting broader speculation about extraterrestrial life considerations. Correspondence shows ongoing questions about the legitimacy of various reports, DoD's reluctance to engage publicly on speculative stories, and repeated efforts by the media to confirm details about classified briefings and UAP-related photographs. While the newly released documents and Stratton's statements seemingly dispel one of the most persistent rumors surrounding UAP evidence in recent years, the broader mystery of unidentified phenomena remains. As official investigations continue and additional information is released, the search for definitive answers continues. Now, numerous FOIA requests filed by the Black Vault remain open on those issues, by the way, and all records released via the FOIA are published when available. So, again, I always encourage people to go to theblackvault.com because John puts out any and everything that have to do with, and he's constantly submitting FOIA requests. We're talking about millions that have been submitted and millions of Freedom of Information Act records that have been published on this website that you can go and look at. I mean, it's all true information that you can see for yourself from the government that verify a lot of what people are looking for. That's already there. I mean, there's you can lose yourself, Mallie, in a rabbit hole from anything from
I'm sure
anything from UFOs to I mean, even backgrounds to celebrities that the FBI has had. I mean, I lost myself in a rabbit hole last night of just the amount of case files that certain celebrities have.
Okay.
FBI files. And
I would like that part. I like the gossip stuff.
I mean, did you know that Old Dirty Bastard had 83 files from the FBI?
No.
Yeah.
But we were talking about him yesterday on our road trip.
Were you?
Yeah. Because we were trying to remember if he was dead or not.
Oh, yeah, he's dead.
Yeah. No, I know. But it was like one of those things. And we started talking about a bunch of stuff. But yeah, we were talking about him yesterday in the car.
And what's crazy, at one time when Old Dirty went nuts,
yeah,
he accused the FBI of having files on him. And at one point, the FBI had files on a lot of the major famous rappers. And it was known, I'm trying to remember what it was known as. It was known as something like the Hip Hop Commission or something like that.
Okay.
And they were trying to find dirt on different rappers. And they had all these different files for no apparent reason. And
crazy.
Old Dirty was one of the ones who had the most amount of files on him.
Yeah.
And it just seemed like for no reason. And you can go read some of these files over at theblackvault.com.
Huh.
It's just interesting stuff. And I mean, John has all this stuff available. So it's just a treasure trove of information. That's for sure. Well, we get to our first celebrity story today when it comes to UFOs. Woody Harrelson recalls a freaky childhood UFO encounter. The actor detailed his experience with the unknown during a recent interview with Late Show host Stephen Colbert. I saw this one live when it aired. Harrelson recently performed in an alien abduction sketch on SNL 50. I don't know if you saw that sketch when it aired live.
Is that the one where Meryl Streep was the mom?
Yes. Yeah.
That was funny.
It was a funny skit. He recollected a childhood experience with a UFO that had remained firmly entrenched in his memory. He says, yeah, I mean, I'm open-minded. He told that to Stephen Colbert on the Late Late Show. If you've been abducted, now would be a great time to tell me, Colbert quipped. But have you seen a UFO? Because I have. I've seen stuff I can't explain, he said. Harrelson went on to describe what happened to him as a teenager living in Ohio in 1974. Suddenly, I noticed everybody's out in the street, so I went out and we look up, he said. It was nighttime and there was these lights and they were just kind of blinking and then it would just shoot all the way out across the sky. And then there'd be one over there, shoot over there, and there were several. They just kept going across the sky. The actor found it particularly strange that nobody seemed to want to talk about it afterward. Nobody talked about it, he said. Literally, everybody just went inside and said nothing. It was so freaky, even for me, as young as I was. On the topic of aliens, Harrelson remains open-minded. He said, why wouldn't it be true? There's actually a link to the interview, and I tell you what, I'll put the interview up here in the description of the program so you can watch the You can watch the interview with Stephen Colbert. So
Very cool.
yeah. There was an unexpected discovery made inside the mouth of the alien mummy from Peru, or as Bruiser used to call it, the cake mummies, because they look like cake.
Gotcha.
A new examination has, I always thought it was funny that you cut into it, serve it to your friends. Some people think they're fake. Some people think they're real. I had one guest on that tried to convince us that they were real. In fact, I think he still emails me from time to time. I just stopped emailing him back. I don't know if that's rude or not. I can never tell. A new examination has revealed something that could help to settle the debate once and for all. The mystery surrounding the mummies began when UFO researcher Jaime Maussan, you say one, I say the other. It's tomato and tomato, Mallie. A controversial figure even in the UFO community presented what he claimed to be two alien bodies at a formal Congress hearing in Mexico City back in 2023. Now, supposedly found buried between the Peruvian cities of Palpo and Nazca in 2017, the two bodies reportedly contained unknown DNA and were, as Masson put it, not from this earth. His claims went on to generate a great deal of controversy and debate, with experts slamming his discovery on the basis that the aliens were thought to be little more than human mummies. Others, meanwhile, claim that they might not even be real bodies at all. Now, however, a new investigation of one of the mummies, nicknamed Antonio, probably because he looked like Antonio Banderas on a cake, just saying, has yielded a fascinating discovery that could help to confirm its true nature, or the true nature, rather, of one of these mysterious figures. Headed up by Dr. Jose Zalsa, the former director of the Mexican Navy Medical Department, the research team discovered evidence of dentistry within the mummy's mouth cavity. Oh, dentistry, is it? The dental work consisted of fillings made from mercury, silver, copper, and tin. Okay, wait a minute. Aliens have dentistry? This, the researchers argue, is conclusive evidence that these were real people. Unless aliens performed human dentistry on each other, we can also assume that the mummy is very much human.
Okay.
This is yet another piece of clear and irrefutable evidence that these bodies are 100% genuine, real, and organic, having once been alive, said doctors also. I think we're getting down to the bottom of these alien mummies, and I'm using air quotes if you're watching on video. I don't think they're alien at all.
I don't think so.
No. Especially when you bring up dentistry.
I don't think they need they had cavities.
Yeah. I think they probably have better dental hygiene out in space than we do here.
Yeah.
Just saying. Our next story, Mallie, has to do with the U.S. Air Force's Janet Fleet planes making an unexpected trip to Area 51. In the times that we went to Nevada, did you ever happen to drive around the fences at Area 51?
No.
No?
I never did.
I've driven around them. I've never had the balls to stop and put my nose against it just to see if anybody came out. But maybe someday. I'm still young and cantankerous. I might give it a shot.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to be drug away anywhere, but, the planes are typically used to transport personnel to and from secure and secretive locations within the U.S. There are few places on Earth notoriously secretive as Area 51, a remote facility in the Nevada desert that has become synonymous with stories of reverse engineered alien technology and the development of highly advanced black projects that next to nobody knows anything about. While we still don't really know what goes on there, what we do know is that there was a flurry of activity a few days ago when 3 flights from the enigmatic Janet, or Joint Air Network for Employee Transportation Fleet, landed on one of its 6 runways. Comprised of Boeing 737 jets made up to look like typical airliners, Janet Fleet has been used for many years to transport important personnel, such as military contractors and DoD staff, or Department of Defense staff, to secure and secretive locations. In this particular case, 3 of the planes took off 2 days ago from the nearby Harry Reid International Airport in Las Vegas and landed at Area 51 around 18 minutes later. Well, that's a short flight.
Mm-hmm.
It is believed that such flights have been happening since as far back as 1955. The big question is exactly what the purpose of these latest trips might be, especially within the context of recent political events in the U.S. and beyond. Area 51 itself, which is located within the U.S. Air Force's Nevada Test and Training Range, is known to have been home to various secret projects over the years, though exactly what it is used for these days, especially given how well known it is, remains unclear. Whatever the case, it seems that somewhat of importance needed to get there in quite the hurry, especially since it's only 18 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I'm going to show you a picture here, Mal.
Okay.
And ask you, when was the last time you went fishing?
Years ago.
Have you ever caught anything that looks like that?
No, I have not. That is very strange looking.
It is, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the reason I asked Mallie that is because a fisherman went out and caught a bizarre creature that looks like an alien head.
It does look like a head.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever caught a walleye that looked like an alien head or a catfish. But if I did, I definitely would throw it back. I don't think that's something I'd take home and eat. That's for sure. The remarkable catch, which has since gone viral, has prompted conspiracy theories about undersea aliens. There are some truly strange-looking animals in the depths of the ocean, and now one of these has become the focus of a viral video courtesy of a Russian fisherman named Roman Fedortsov. You keep your Fedortsov to yourself, if you know what I mean. Resembling what has been widely described as an alien's head, this bizarre blob caught the attention of the internet after footage of it was uploaded onto social media. The clip, which was posted with the theme music from The X-Files, of course, playing in the background, quickly racked up a large number of views and sparked a great deal of debate and discussion. Far from being an alien's head, however, this peculiar catch is, in fact, a type of marine ray-finned fish known as a smooth lumpsucker, which is also what I used to call my ex in college.
A lumpsucker?
A smooth lumpsucker, yeah. It typically lives down in the ocean and can grow up to a foot in length. I tell you what, there's a clip on this deal, so I'll post it in the description of this program so you can see what my ex from college looked like. Smooth lumpsucker. Indeed. A smooth lumpsucker. And finally, before we go to break, Katy Perry is going to fly into space as part of Blue Origin's first all-female crew.
Oh, okay.
I don't know that I trust Blue Origin's flights, but hey, if she wants to take her life in her hands, we'll see you later.
She hasn't had anything out recently anyway.
Well, it's either American Idol or,
yeah.
Or she's going to scream into space and we'll record it, one or the other.
Yeah.
Right. The pop star will be joined by 5 other women as part of a groundbreaking flight into the final frontier. We've seen some famous people fly into space in recent years, including Star Trek's legend William Shatner, who described the experience back in 2021 as life-changing. Now, according to reports, the next famous face to attempt the trip will be singer Katy Perry, who will be soaring into space aboard Blue Origin's first ever all-female space flight. It will, in fact, be the first time any space mission has had an all-female crew since Soviet Union cosmonaut Valentina Tereshkova, her solo mission, all the way back in 1963. Really? It's been that long?
I didn't think it was that long.
Wow. Joining Perry, and the only reason the Russians shot a woman into space is because she wouldn't shut up. Just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Well, there are a bunch of misogynists over in the Soviet Union, so just saying. Sorry, I had to hit that joke.
I know.
Joining Perry on the trip will be Jeff Bezos' fiance, Lauren Sanchez, and the only reason he's sending her up is because she won't shut up. No, I'm kidding. See, it's a callback. It's a... Lauren Sanchez, by the way, is a former CBS presenter. I'm sorry, no. It's No, I screwed that one up. It's just Lauren Sanchez. CBS presenter Gayle King is also going.
Oh.
Yeah.
She bringing an Oprah?
You would think they're attached to the hip, but no.
Yeah.
No. I guess that's a solo flight for her, too. Former NASA rocket scientist Aisha Bowe is going. Civil rights activist Amanda Wynn is going. And film producer Carrie Ann Flynn. So there you go. That rounds out the flight. Now,
variety of backgrounds.
Yeah. Now, the mission, which is dubbed NS-31, will be the 11th manned launch of Blue Origin's New Shepard rocket, with the program having so far sent 52 people into space. It isn't clear exactly when the flight will launch, but is expected to be within the next 2 to 3 months. The mission itself will likely last only around 11 minutes.
That's fast.
It is. And the problem I have with this, I'll tell you here after I get done reading the story. It's only 11 minutes, with the crew getting only a brief time to observe the Earth from above and to experience weightlessness. And the reason being is it just scrapes the atmosphere. So you just barely touch space and then you come back down.
Right.
Yeah. If you had told me I'd be part of this first all-female crew in space, I would have believed you. I would have believed you? I would think she would have said, I wouldn't have believed you.
Right.
But she said,
unless it's a typo.
Maybe she's got an ego about it. Nothing was beyond my imagination as a child, she said. Oh, so she would have believed you. She would have said, oh, yeah, I was going to go to space. That's a little egotistical, but okay.
A little, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's my problem with it, is Blue Origin. Well, one, it looks like a giant penis being shot into space. But the other is, do you find it ironic that he's loading up a bunch of women into a giant penis and shooting them into the atmosphere? Do you find that weird? Not only that, but Bezos has a giant bald head too, so it's all very phallic.
Stop.
I'm just saying. Did
they have to pay for their tickets?
No, I don't think so. No, I think this one's a freebie.
Gotcha.
I'm just saying Bezos is this is Bezos' own wet dream come true. I think he's given a pass to.
Gotcha.
But the reason I'm not crazy about Blue Origin is he barely gets them into space for 11 minutes. Correct. And then he lands them. So it's like a giant spatial dick tease is what it is.
Yeah, it is a tease because it's not like you're orbiting them.
No. And literally, it's a giant dick he's sending them up in. I mean, it's not,
Yeah.
That's why I have a problem with it, but it is what it is, I guess. You can say you touch space, so.
Yeah.
Whoopee. No, I mean, I don't mean to be a cynic about it, but it's just, yay.
Right.
Right? It's not like
something they can brag about.
It's not like there's an alien up there waving at you going, congratulations! It's not like they give you a medal or anything.
Because they go on the distance that, like, you see those balloons up that just get right past the atmosphere. So it's kind of like they're in space, but they're not. You know the ones I'm talking about where, like, that one guy dived all the way down?
I'm not sure. I just know you just achieve weightlessness. So you know that you've hit it.
Right.
So I think you just break the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just get there. Kind of like Bezos with Lauren Sanchez. I'm saying you just get there. She just gets there, and then she's like, all right, whatever. You made your goal there, Bezos. Basie. Yeah. I think she calls him Basie in the bedroom, probably. It's not like
he probably forgot to have her sign a prenup, so this is his way of getting rid of her.
That's right. This will be the mission that all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, this will be the oops, really?
Oopsie. Do you just, am I the only one who sees Jeff Bezos as looking like Dr. Evil? Is it just me?
I think it's just you. Okay. I haven't, that idea has not come to mind.
$1 million? No,
I'd like to be his ex-wife, though. Man, she's rich.
Oh, boy.
She got away with a lot. Good for her. Well deserved.
She got the bag on that, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah, you're right. Good for her. I mean, she did have to put up with this crap for a while, but.
Correct. That's why I was like, hey.
And you got to ask yourself, I mean, Lauren Sanchez really isn't going to pull away with much at being the second in line, right?
Probably not. No. Unless he's just blinded because she gives good head or something. I don't know. Oops, sorry, I needed to delete that.
Well, he does have a giant rocket ship.
I don't know what the rules are.
No, there's no rules. There's no rules. We don't have any FCC.
But you know what I mean. Sometimes
Right.
if you're good in the bed, you get your way.
Yeah. But I mean, she took half. I mean, the ex took half. So
Right.
he's got to.
Then I think she donated a lot of it.
She did. She
Good for her.
She basically said, "Hey Jeff, watch me throw this out the window."
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, she threw it out the window on a good cause.
Yeah.
Which you got to admire her for that.
Yeah.
And then
That's a tax
didn't she
write-off.
get remarried? The ex?
I do not know if she got remarried or not.
I thought she did.
Oh, maybe.
But then on top of it, you've got, and I think Lauren Sanchez and Jeff Bezos are engaged to be married, right?
Yes.
Okay. So she's lining up for the big score, right? So to speak.
Yep.
And of course, I'm sure they're very happy together. Look at me roll my eyes.
She's always showing off those tatas.
Yes. Yeah. She's putting the girls front and center.
Yeah.
I'm sure until
Putting them to work.
Yeah, until they're firmly married, and then she'll lock them down. We know how the game is played, fellas. Don't get us wrong. We know how this works. And then of course, it'll go for what? Give us a time span, Mal. What do you figure? 7 years?
Yeah, because I don't think she would divorce him, but I think if he was to divorce her, he'd do it right before that level is on the prenup where if you last this long, then you get another amount. So I'm sure I give it 6.
6 years?
Yeah,
Okay.
6 years.
And then he tires of her, and then she takes
Yeah,
another...
find someone else, a younger,
younger model. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she takes another Blue Origin flight and we never see her again. Is that how that works? I'm sure.
Shame on us. We're coming up with her demise.
Well, we're only trying to help in case there's Bezos Angel Fund money for the show. You never know.
We're like the Simpsons. We're whatever we say is going to happen. Our predictions.
Just trying to be helpful. That's all.
Yeah. That's all.
Because he doesn't want to pay out a second time. So
yeah.
You never know. He also owns a giant yacht, so you never know. There may be chum in the water.
That thing is huge.
Yeah. You didn't
That's what she said.
Yeah. I'm sure he can. There's a reason why he's overcompensating with the rocket ship and the boat. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just a tiny bit.
Just a tiny bit. Right. Just a tiny bit. Okay. Well, coming up after the break, we will have Jesse Leimkeuhler with us. We'll talk a little bit about the weekend that was with Missouri Paracon and some of the highlights of Missouri Paracon. And when we come back as well, a man, speaking of a lot of money, there's a man out there that just did a stupid thing. And now he's got to trudge through a dump to find a hard drive that's worth $1 billion.
Ooh.
We'll tell you why crypto sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's part of our AI segment. Also, every Kung Fu robot was Kung Fu fighting. We'll tell you why the Unitree G1 is supposedly impressing people with spinning kicks and more. Also part of our AI segment today. There's a new study that's linking paranormal beliefs to increased stress levels. We'll tell you why Mallie and I are going to die of cortisol levels that'll go off the charts.
Yeah.
It's coming up later in the program. There's a new bill out there that proposes to make Bigfoot California's official state cryptid. I thought it already was. What's the deal? We'll find out more about that. And we have a palate cleanser today. We started off the show talking about food. We'll end it by talking about food. How's that sound?
Sounds great.
There you go. That's today's show. Supernatural News and Parashare. Tim Dennis and Mallie Fox right here on the best in paranormal podcasting. You're listening to Darkness Radio. Welcome back to the best in paranormal programming. This is Darkness Radio. I'm your host, Tim Dennis. We'll start up with more stories here with Mallie Fox in just a moment. But first, again, beginning of the program, I couldn't tell you enough about this past weekend. I had a wonderful time this weekend at Missouri Paracon. Again, if you missed it, you don't know exactly what you missed out on, folks. The beginning of a new era, the beginning of a Paracon that I believe is going to be the best in the nation, the biggest in the nation, and one that you're not going to want to miss from year to year. Missouri Paracon was something special, and you truly did miss out on a great time this weekend. You're going to kick yourself if you didn't go, I'll tell you that much. But you are going to have, as I believe, one more opportunity next year for the second annual Missouri Paracon. With me right now is the founder and organizer of Missouri Paracon. Jesse Leimkeuhler is with me now, and we're going to talk a little bit about this last year and what a great year and weekend it was. Jesse, thank you so much for joining me today on Darkness Radio.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me on. It sems like, 3 days since I've seen you?
Yeah, it's been so long since we've seen each other. I appreciate you giving me a little bit of your time. I know you're very busy. Where do we start? To me, you told me back at Michigan Paracon just a little bit, and you didn't overhype anything, Yeah. You told me about what great facilities this was going to be. And I think you undersold me really, on what the facilities were going to be like. And you were excited about the potential of what this was going to be. And I was excited just hearing about it. But man, when I drove up, I thought, wow, that was the first thing in my mind. Wow. And then when I walked in, I just had this feel like I started to get a little overwhelmed. Like, you know what? I think you're about to hit a home run here. But then as I got into the vendor room and I'm setting up, I'm thinking, Jesse, what am I getting into here, man? What exactly have you got here? And it turns out, I think you might have hit a home run here, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, you covered a couple of things. I mean, the venue, we were very pleased with the venue, which is Maristar Casino here in Kansas City. And it's a beautiful place. And you walk inside and it's almost like you're outdoors, except you're indoors. They literally have the sky painted on the ceiling and there's always light, so it's like it's never nighttime there. And it's almost like a little, I don't know, Main Street USA kind of feel to it, where there's shops, little restaurants and stuff like that, and the casino and all that stuff. So, we were really obviously pleased with that. But yeah, I think the undersell was the fact that we just didn't know what was going to happen, right? I mean, you try to create every bit of what Michigan Paracon was, and at some level we hoped we could improve on it. There was always room for improvement, and so we started with the basics. We said we're going to have a vendor room, we're going to have a lot of great speakers for a couple days, and we'll see where we go from there. And so some of the things we added, obviously, we had the concerts. Both nights we had KCDC, which is a great AC/DC tribute band, and we had Disco Dick and the Mirrorballs. It's great retro disco music, and so we added those things in and added an open bar for our VIPs and things like that. So we did little things to tweak the formula a little bit of Michigan, and then put it in a really nice facility. And I have to give credit, of course, to Brad Blair, who he's the founder of Michigan Paracon, and he's a partner with me in this venture. And Brad did wonderful things. When we were planning things, I always had ideas, and then Brad was there to kind of focus our ideas to make sure that we stayed on track as far as that goes. But I'll be honest, I kind of played down it at some level because I didn't know how it would work out. But now that the weekend is done, it actually exceeded my expectations. I thought it was better than I thought it would be, which is not something that I usually say, honestly. It was a little shocking even for me. I got
to tell you, first of all, okay, so this isn't hyperbole. I think you went a step above Michigan Paracon. You really did. You went a few steps above Michigan Paracon. And I'll tell you in my opinion, the little nuances where you exceeded, okay? First of all, again, the VIP touches were amazing. The open bar was amazing. The bands were amazing. I mean, first of all, again, you go from karaoke to bands. That's a huge step. I got to tell you, that's a huge step. To have professional entertainment, that theater was amazing. To have the opportunity to either come outside and just enjoy either hanging out with friends out in the lobby or go in and see professional entertainment. That is huge. That's such a huge step, Jesse. I mean, that's that right there. But not only that, but when you come out into the lobby, there's 2 restaurants right there. 2 restaurants with excellent food. You know, you've got a burger joint and a pizza joint there, and man, you've got excellent food and sit down accommodations for both restaurants. I
think some of the people in the casino, I think they were even a little overwhelmed with how busy they were. They were shocked, you know. I think they were maybe just expecting people to come in and enjoy the event itself, which of course that's what they're there for. But at some level, I think the staffing they were even like shocked that they couldn't tell us enough times how nice all of our guests were and how our vendors were and how our personalities were. They said, you know, they're all so kind, they're all so nice, they're all so friendly, and vice versa. You know, for people who have visited Kansas City in general is a very nice town. We're very friendly people. And so I think they appreciate that at some level, that the paranormal community is just so friendly and welcoming, and that they almost kind of get that vibe and they enjoy it. And so we're definitely one of the things we're going to work on is making sure that the restaurants are open more, you know, so that we can get more people in there for them, because, you know, we want the casino and the restaurants to do well as well. And I think if they don't get it open more, they're just going to be giving away a business, right? It's going to be going somewhere else, and we don't want that. We want them to stay, and we want them to have a wonderful time.
You had a fully functioning sports bar that was right in that area too. You had
with robots.
Well, yes. You had a chop house that was second to none. A restaurant, an upscale restaurant that, oh my God, I had dinner there Thursday night. It was amazing.
It's really good.
I'm telling you, this was above and beyond. I mean, the dining facility is above and beyond. The vendor area, I can't rave enough about the vendor area. We're all in one area. Not only was it spacious, but you had plenty of room for traffic for all the attendees to be able to see everybody, and there was traffic flow there that you know, you didn't, the attendees that were there didn't have to go, oh, by the way, I don't know where so and so is.
Right.
We could direct somebody to hey, if you want to see so and so, they're right over there, or, you know, everybody could find everybody. We were all contained in one area. It was brilliant. It was beautiful. It was, you know, and we were all near each other.
Nice thing about that vendor area too, and you may or may not have seen it, but there are actually 2 attached rooms on either side of the ballroom. So we can, if we wanted to expand it, you know, and we get a bigger event going, we have the room to expand where it's still in the same area, which is really nice, because there's nothing worse than having to put vendors in different areas. They're always worried whether they're in the best spot, right? They want to sell the most stuff. For what it's worth, we did hear from vendors, and generally they sold a lot of stuff. So that was fantastic. They definitely said it was worth it. But we don't want anybody to not feel included in, you know, the big space and be near where all the personalities are and stuff like that. So yeah, that ballroom worked really well, which was another surprise, because when I walked into it, I was trying to envision in my mind how it would work, and I wasn't sure. But then, you know, a couple days before, we started setting out tables, and I thought, oh, this is going to be nice. Yeah,
it was gorgeous. Everything about it just wonderful. I couldn't rave about it enough. It was such a wonderful weekend, a great weekend. I think everybody had a lot of fun. It was a wonderful experience. And man, you want to talk about an inaugural weekend that I don't think he could have hit it out of the park any better. I just,
one of the things I was thrilled about too was initially when we thought about it, we were trying to think, okay, how can we get Michigan Paracon guests to come to our event? You know, and I think in hindsight, that maybe was a little misplaced, to be honest with you, because what we found is that we had a whole group of underserved paranormal fans here in the Kansas City and the Midwest area that we weren't servicing by, you know, or what I say we, but Brad up in Michigan, he wasn't hitting that as much. And so we were shocked to find, as we started getting tickets sold and things like that, we were shocked to find while maybe only about 25% of the tickets were sold in Kansas City, the area around was a heavy sell. And that's exciting for us, right? Because that's where we want to be. We don't want to, we love our people in Michigan, don't get me wrong, but we don't want to be drawing everyone from Michigan. We want to find a nice fan base here in the area. And so we're really thrilled to find that there's a lot of people here in the area that never experienced Michigan, and they came to this event. It was their first ever paranormal event in many cases, honestly. And they realized, oh my God, this is an awesome event. I can't believe it.
Well, it's an easy drive from Minneapolis, from Iowa, from all points west. I mean, you're an easy drive to. So for me, it was a 6-hour drive. So it's easy drive. So well worth it, man. I mean, I'm telling you, it was such a great weekend. And again, if people miss out on a second year, I can't help you. I can't help you from experiencing what had to have been. And again, the people there were fabulous too. So if you want the experience of a lifetime, the type of weekend where you're bonding with people in a beautiful location, in a great experience, great food, everything, great bands, music. I don't know I can't help you. I don't know where else you're going to find stuff like this.
And we've already started tweaking a few things. We're working on a couple things. I mean, because we talked about before, I think we'll put out tickets in the next couple of weeks, most likely, so people can get them. And as a result, we have to get some things, some foundation laid as far as what's going to be in the event for next year. So we've already thought of a couple tweaks that I think people are going to be really excited about. They're small tweaks and then a couple big additions. But the nice thing is we've got that foundation laid, and I think it's a good foundation. And I think just by all these little tweaks adding on to what we already have, I think it's going to make it a magnificent show. I'm really excited about it.
Oh, I can't wait to see what you're going to do. This first year had me jazzed. I wanted to be involved in the first year in one way or another. Yeah. I had to come out. I had to see it. And when I told Mallie and Jessica about it, they were like, "We got to be there too. We got to be there too." So they're excited to come out next year. So good. It's one of those things where I think after seeing everybody online posting photos and everything, I think now there's an even bigger buzz for next year, and I think you're gonna see a ton of people. I got to think we're gonna overrun that casino next year. So
yeah, I think it's going to be a big increase in the numbers of people, but we are already planning in that regard to make sure, we don't want it to be a different event just because there's more people, right? Sure. So, we're going to make sure to accommodate that situation. But yeah, I think it's going to be great. And it was great to see you and have you come down. I know you were kind of last minute, relatively speaking, compared to most of the vendors. A lot of them had committed a lot earlier. So it was great to have you down and hang out and get to see it all.
Well, again, I'll be there much, much earlier next year. You'll hear from me much earlier next year. And not only that, but I'll watch my speed with my electric scooter next year. I know I probably scared some.
You were flying.
I know I probably scared some security guards.
The rabbit. It was on the rabbit.
It was on the rabbit. I'll keep it between turtle and rabbit next year, and try not to scare anybody. So I had to.
Brad was sitting with me at the entry table one time, and you went by, and Brad looked at me and says, "Could you even see who that was?"
I just wanted to make sure I got back and forth very quickly. That's all. I didn't mean to.
You got to get back and sell stuff, right?
That's right.
That's the way it goes.
That's right. Yeah. I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anybody either. I met so many nice people this weekend, and got to not only that, but tell them about the show as well. So it was a great opportunity. And again, I thank you and I thank Brad for having me out. I greatly appreciated every opportunity.
No worries. It was happy to have you. And we can't wait to do it again.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So now next year, is there a date for next year?
Yes. So we have February 27th and 28th already set. So that's a Friday and a Saturday. Okay. So we'll have two full days once again of speakers, of vendors, and we're tweaking. We're seeing what we're going to do as far as the evening. I don't want to give away too much on that yet, but we'll definitely have at least one band. And we don't want to commit to much more until we get it settled a little bit. But and then we have a couple new opportunities that we're going to work into. So it's gonna be a lot of fun.
All right. Well, as the year progresses and we get more information, we'll check back in with you. How's that sound?
Awesome. That sounds great. I'd love to be back.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jesse Leimkeuhler. We appreciate you here on the program, and we'll check back and we'll find out more as the year progresses and get more information on Missouri Paracon. And again, we can't wait to come on back out and see what's going on because, man, you throw a hell of a party. I'll tell you that.
We'll see you soon.
All right. Thank you so much, Jesse. I tell you what, folks, let's jump back into it. Let's bring in Mallie Fox and let's figure out what's going on this week in supernatural news. I want to thank Jesse Leimkeuhler for coming on the show. Again, Missouri Paracon. I had to be careful how I say that, Mallie. Missouri.
Oh, habit.
Right. Missouri Paracon coming next year to Kansas City, February 26th to the 28th, I believe. So it should be a good time. It was a great time this year. I know that. It was just one of those things, Mallie, that I tell you what, brought a little bit of happiness to my world in a time. But okay, see, I said the word. I said the word happiness. I probably shouldn't have said happy, right?
Yep.
Yeah. See, I say happy, and then the music starts, and AI doesn't like me being happy.
Nope.
Nope. I guess that means we should do the AI news.
Let's get it done.
Yeah, let's get it done. A man wants to buy and search a dump for a hard drive worth $1 billion. Do you have any investments in crypto?
No, I don't. I don't understand it very well.
Oh, I think I can maybe explain a little bit of it in this story. And tell you why it might or might not be.
That would suck $1 billion.
Right? Here's why it may or may not be a good investment for you. James Howells' former partner accidentally threw away a hard drive of Bitcoin, now worth hundreds of millions of dollars. James Howells is considering buying a council dump in South Wales after his former partner accidentally threw away a hard drive containing his Bitcoin wallet. Howells has already lost a high court case to allow him to search the tip for the hard drive, which he believes contains Bitcoin worth 600 million pounds. But would it even be possible to find it? Well, here's the mathematical equation to see whether he could or not. Howells is a Welsh IT engineer and was an early adopter of the cryptocurrency Bitcoin in December of 2008. By February 2009, he had started mining the coins on his laptop, a process which involves using your computer to carry out complex mathematical processes in exchange for the coins. If your head doesn't already hurt, it's going to by the end of this story. At the time, he was one of just 5 people mining the currency, and he eventually accrued a fortune of around 8,000 Bitcoin. Initially, they were basically worthless. The first real-world transaction involving the currency was in 2010, when a man in Florida bought 2 pizzas for 10,000 Bitcoins. Imagine that these days, buying a pizza for 10,000 Bitcoin. You'd be the stupidest person in the world. However, in the 15 years since, the value of the currency has grown dramatically, with a single Bitcoin, if you're ready for this, Mallie, passing the $100,000 mark.
Wow.
So yeah, if you would have bought a pizza for 10,000 Bitcoins now, you'd be the stupidest person in the world at Domino's, right? You know, I mean, because 10,000 Bitcoin would be, well, gosh, how many millions would that be? For 100,000 per Bitcoin?
But I'd like to be that pizza owner. I wonder if he kept it.
Boy, I don't know. That's a good question. Boy, think about that, though. You're right. I wonder if that pizza owner held on to the 10,000 Bitcoin. That was in December 2024 that it hit the $100,000 mark, a value which would mean that those 2 pizzas, would be worth $1 billion.
Ooh.
Or 790 million pounds. No wonder Howells wants to find his hard drive, but what are the chances of finding a tiny 10 centimeters hard drive in a site containing 1.4 billion kilograms of waste? It literally is like finding a needle in a haystack.
Yeah.
Right? Well, at first, it seems like a simple calculation. If you randomly select a single location within the landfill, the probability that the hard drive will be there is simply the size of the object divided by the total size of the landfill. A Google Maps estimate of the area of the Docksway landfill site suggests it's roughly 500,000 square meters or 5 billion square centimeters, which is approximately the size of 70 football pitches. So piece of cake, right?
Oh.
Yeah. However, we also have to account for the depth of the landfill, with years of trash piled up on top of each other. Even a conservative estimate of 20 meters would give a total volume of 10 million cubic meters, or 10 trillion cubic centimeters. This is roughly 3,600 times the volume of the swimming pool used at last summer's Paris's Olympic Games. Good luck.
Right. And you said earlier that he's trying to buy the dump site?
Oh, I don't think he's trying to buy it. He's trying to.
I thought you said he was trying to buy it in order to look for his thing. Oh, okay.
I think he's just trying to get permission to go in there so that he can look and dig it up.
But you'd have to have the dump like prevent any more.
Oh no, I did say he is considering buying
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Because you'd have to shut down trucks coming in to dump more stuff.
Right. You got to shut it down completely and dig up the entire thing.
Oh.
Yeah. Now, the odds of finding this, I'm about to give the odds. Mallie, this is almost disheartening. Howell says the Bitcoin are on a 2.5-inch hard drive, okay, which has a volume of around 70 cubic centimeters. Therefore, the odds of finding the Bitcoin at a single randomly selected location are 70 in, I believe this is 10 billion.
Oh.
Approximately a 1 in, 10 trillion, 70 in 10 trillion, or approximately 1 in 143 billion chance. So 70 in 10 trillion, or approximately 1 in 143 billion chance that he'll find this thing, even if he buys the landfill.
I can't even find my keys in my house. You know what I mean?
Right.
Wow. How long did they have an estimate, like how long it would take him to search every inch of the, because that would be years, correct? It's not like you can use a metal detector.
Right. Well, that might almost be smarter to use the metal detector. But think of how many pings you'll get.
Right, exactly.
How much metal is there? So this is over 3,000 times less likely than winning the jackpot on the UK's national lottery. However, with 600 million pounds on the line, it seems unlikely anyone would just turn up and search one single location. So the real question here is about time and money. If we know that the hard drive is located somewhere within the landfill site, how long would it take to find it and how much would it cost? So if you focus on time to begin with, there's really just an extension of our first calculation. Suppose it takes 1 second to search each 1,000 cubic centimeter section of the landfill, which is an incomplete estimate since your experience of hunting landfills for hard drives is limited. It would take 10 billion seconds or 316 years of continuous searching to cover the entire site. But of course, this could be significantly reduced by having an entire team searching at the same time. So you may ask, is it financially worth it? Clearly, Howells does not have 316 years to complete the search. But what if he gave the resources for 1 full year of nonstop searching? The odds of finding the hard drive this year would be 1 in 316. While the chances remain slim, this might start to sound tempting given the potential reward. That is when the aspect of cost comes in. How much would you be willing to pay in order to have a 1 in 316 chance of winning 600 million pounds? Mm-hmm. The answer lies in the statistical concept of expected value, which is the expected long-term outcome of a scenario if you were able to repeat it over and over and over again. Which, I mean, good question. They work out the mathematical gist of it and what you would need in order to do that. So on the average, if you were searching the site for a year, you would expect to find 1.9 million pounds in there. So if the searching costs were less than the amount, you would expect to make a profit on average, and it may be considered a worthwhile investment. However, if the search were more than 1.9 million pounds, you'd expect to lose money on average, and it would not be worthwhile.
Oh.
So you'd have to keep the cost below 1.9 million pounds in order to make money on this deal.
Right.
If Howell ever gets access to the dump, it might be worth having a statistician on hand to keep or to help guide the search. That's if he gets access to the dump.
Right.
I don't know. Do you go for it?
I don't know. I'm lazy. But it is $1 billion. But you know what's funny is that he'll probably find the hard drive before they find something on Oak Island.
That's true. That is true.
The way that they're going, I'm like, good God, you haven't found the gold yet.
You bring up an excellent point. Do you bring in the guys from Oak Island to find this? Just saying.
Could you imagine how pissed off this guy's at his partner for throwing it away?
Oh,
What if his partner took it?
see, that's the other thing. What if this is just an alibi? Oh, no, I threw it away and it's probably in the dump.
Yeah.
What if he actually held on to it?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
You never know.
I feel bad for the guy, though. That would suck.
I do too. I really do too. So, but you know.
Damn, $1 billion though. Woo!
Right. I mean, that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. Oh, well. Okay. Meanwhile, every robot was kung fu fighting, Mal. The Unitree G1 is impressing people with its spinning kicks and more. In a recently published video, the Unitree G1 showed that humanoid robots can already do much more than simple sorting tasks. The G1 impressed with authentic kung fu moves, including a spin kick. The development of humanoid robots has accelerated in recent years, and you can figure AI was already delivered its first robot as a customer, while Tesla Optimus is hard at work on its own factories. It was impressive to see Optimus navigate tough terrain in November 2024. However, when Unitree showcases with the G1, it takes things to another level. In a recent video, the robot performs complex kung fu techniques, including a spin kick. The movements may still appear somewhat stiff, but no one wants to be on the receiving end of a kick like that. The intricate movements are made possible by 43 joints, giving the G1 exceptional mobility. Specialized actuators, which function like human muscles, keep the robot stable, even during rapid motions. According to Unitree, the G1 can actually balance backward on a 20 centimeter wide surface and carry a 6 kilogram backpack without losing stability. The robot, by the way, is available starting at $16,000. So if you need a robot that can protect you with karate, you got a friend. Unitree follows an open source approach with the G1, providing developers worldwide access to its algorithms, control interfaces, and simulation tools. It enables researchers and companies to create custom applications for the robot while contributing to the advancement of robotics. The G1 is already sparking intense debate on Reddit. While many users are impressed by its technical capabilities, others question the video's authenticity. Some critics suspect that scenes were edited or enhanced with CGI to make the robot's abilities appear more enhanced. This wouldn't be the first case of potential deception on humanoid robots. Tesla has faced similar criticism, as the Optimus bot was likely remote controlled while sorting small parts. I'm going to see if I can get this video to fire off here, Mallie, so you can... Oh, look at that. It's got fancy. Ooh, look at this. Look at he is kung fuing right here. Look at that. Does that look impressive to you or not?
Oh, very.
Yeah.
Sweet moves.
Sweet moves on the kung fu bot. Huh? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Kung fu bot. And I'll tell you what, I'll post this too so you can watch the kung fu bot from Unitree. Kung fu bot. I think we have a new movie for the kids, Kung Fu Bot. So, just so you can sidle up to it and be its friend before it crushes your skull.
Right.
Just saying, you're gonna need that too. You're gonna need that too in the upcoming apocalypse. You're gonna need a buddy robot to kill the other robot that's coming for you. So, just saying. And one more for you. In case you didn't fear death enough, how about a robot buddy to help you fear death less?
Okay.
A physicist is trying to recreate near-death experiences in virtual reality to help terminally ill patients. Would you like to have a virtual near-death experience, Mel?
No, I'm good. Thank you. I'm good.
The research aims to provide the psychological benefits of near-death experiences to those who are about to die. Sorry,
I already
Milt.
have that when Dirk's driving.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Every time you jump in the car with Mr. Fox, it's probably...
Yeah. Emergency brakes.
Yes. My life is flashing in front of my
I keep
eyes.
hitting the imaginary emergency brake.
Yeah. Stop.
Yeah.
You probably got arthritis in one knee by now, huh?
Yeah.
Dave Glowacki is a researcher with the Singular Research Center in Intelligence Technologies, or CITIUS, at the University of Santiago de Compostela in Spain. Or it's Compostela. It could be that too. Knows better than most what it feels like to have a near-death experience and how it can change a person's outlook on life and death. In 2006, he suffered life-threatening injuries in a fall when hiking, and while waiting for a rescue, recalled experiencing the sensation of his soul leaving his body, a common theme among near-death experiences. Afterward, he found that he had been stripped of his fear of death and realized that he could find a way to simulate near-death experiences in others, that he could impart them with the same psychological benefits and put them onto them. To this end, Glowacki is now spearheading a remarkable new project that will use virtual reality to enable those who are suffering from life-threatening illnesses to undergo their own, albeit simulated, near-death experiences. According to previous studies, there is evidence to suggest that those who do recall such experiences typically go on to enjoy a significant reduction in anxiety and stress levels. This is perhaps because those people gain a renewed and even transcendental sense of peace and acceptance with regard to death and no longer fear what comes next when they die. While some scientists have looked into the use of drugs to induce near-death experiences, Glowacki's research has indicated that virtual reality is the safest way to replicate the experience. Exactly how effective this type of therapy will prove to be, however, remains to be seen. You know, when I first read this article, Mallie, I thought of a TikTok video I saw this past week about virtual reality that shows people running into shit as they are having a VR experience. And I can just imagine somebody having this beautiful near-death experience and running into the television at the same time they're having it. You know?
Right.
I just don't see it going well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or running into a wall.
I'm fine. Yeah.
You know? I see a beautiful light. Wham! And then hitting the wall. You know?
My son's always whacking his hands on, because he moves while he does his VR.
Yeah.
And then he whacks something. I'm always like, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. I'm like, your hands are going to be so, I'm surprised you haven't broken your wrist yet.
Or you're in the hospital and you want grandma to feel good about going to the other side. So you strap some VR goggles on her and she falls out the 7th floor window. So she ends up going anyways.
Yeah. Jeez.
I see something really going wrong with this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that's not the way to go.
We need to cool it with the VR stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
I don't need a virtual reality thing on my death experience.
Yeah. Just saying.
Yeah.
Although, in relation to that story, there's an astrophysicist that claims that 5 clues point to the existence of an afterlife. So maybe you just need these 5 clues.
Okay.
Right? Dr. Hugh Ross believes that there is sufficient evidence to suggest that there's life after death. The question of whether or not there's some sort of afterlife has remained a central element of spiritual beliefs, religions, and philosophical discussions since the dawn of time. According to Canadian astrophysicist Dr. Hugh Ross, which gets me thinking of a Simpsons thing. I don't know why Simpsons is coming up today, but his name could have been Dr. Hugh Jass. I mean, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's Dr. Hugh Ross.
Mm-hmm.
However, enough evidence exists to suggest that the idea of an afterlife from being a topic of faith or speculation is a near certainty. Okay. He says, I see 5 or 6 lines of evidence for the existence of a transcendent realm beyond, he told Mail Online. In other words, the biblical heaven or God's spiritual realm of existence. So what are these lines of evidence, you may ask? The first, he says, is that something always lies beyond the observable universe, which amounts to over 93 billion light years of observable space, meaning that, according to Ross, there is something beyond, and that something is a realm beyond our understanding. Given that mass exists in the universe and that general relativity reliably describes the movement of massive bodies in the universe, these theorems establish the necessity of a causal agent, aka a creator, beyond space and time. That's what Ross claims. Another piece of evidence cited by Ross is the existence of near-death experiences, in which people who have nearly died have recalled transcendental experiences pertaining to an afterlife. While these remain inconclusive, they are certainly compelling. He also cites the existence of UFOs as another indicator of realms or dimensions beyond our own. The last two pieces of evidence he cites, however, are certainly the most contentious, i.e., that provable truths from the Bible and the effectiveness of prayer are evidence of some sort of spiritual afterlife. Many will certainly argue that both of these things are far from conclusive. Many experts disagree on which elements of the Bible are actually true, and that there's no definitive scientific evidence that prayer is a measurable physical effect on anyone or anything, despite what he is claiming. Ultimately, it is unlikely that Ross's 5 arguments are in support of an afterlife will convince everyone. Interestingly enough, though, Mel, I've actually talked to a few of my doctors. I mean, not that this is anything about anything, but I've talked to a few of my doctors about the power of prayer, even ones that are complete atheists or agnostic.
Right.
Even they will kind of give into the fact that, even though they may not believe in prayer, they know what the power of it is, the power of intention. And they'll admit to a group intention and say, you know what, there is something to group intention. So if a huge group of people get together and pour forward intention, there's a power to it that will get a patient through an illness. And they don't know how to explain it. They can't explain it. Mm-hmm. So they know that it works. They don't know why it works.
Yes.
Even if they say, well, I don't believe in what you believe in, or I don't believe in your religion, they do know that it helps, and they don't question it. They just know that it helps, and they encourage it, even if they don't believe in it, which is encouraging even for a person of science who doesn't believe in it. Mm-hmm. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Does that doctor have something there?
I think so. I just think there's so many things out there we can't explain.
Mm-hmm. I think the doctor's onto something, but there's some strong points to that argument. There's a few, maybe a little weak too. You don't ever want to go on. If you're a doctor, you don't ever want to go on theory, right? You want to be able to take all the scientific points and be able to to connect them to fact, right? Or scientific fact, and say I can take especially if there's religion involved, I can take your religious points and connect them to fact and make them work, so that everybody can agree. To just say, well, because I see it in the universe, I believe you can connect it. It makes for a bit of weak sauce for those who are skeptics, because they can tear you apart. It's just my opinion. Mm-hmm. Our next story has to do with a woman who met her soulmate after an Etsy psychic drew his photo and they got engaged. Kind of an interesting little story.
Oh, she's got some faith in that person. Yeah.
Yeah. Boy, I'll say, right? Heck of a jump there. 31-year-old Nicole Echeverria had a soulmate drawing done by an Etsy psychic medium after a string of unsuccessful relationships, and the results were incredible. In a tale that seems lifted from the pages of a romance novel, 31-year-old Nicole Echeverria's love life took a magical turn when an Etsy psychic medium's prediction came true. After enduring a series of failed romances and a lengthy single spell, Echeverria sought guidance through a soulmate drawing. The psychic had foretold her that she would encounter a dream partner or her dream partner within 9 to 13 months. As if by destiny, 9 months later, she stumbled upon Vitor Snatos, who's 32 years old. He's a Portuguese man, via TikTok. Of all the places to fall in love, via TikTok, right? She said it would be the relationship we'd both finally been waiting for. And we'd met in 9 to 13 months. She said he's very kind, had strong features, and she'd seen him as being Mediterranean, Spanish, Portuguese, or Italian. The Long Island native shared with her audience. It was 90% accurate. I knew he was my husband when I looked at him, Echeverria gushed to her followers. While living in Lisbon, Portugal, Echeverria opened up about her frustration with dating and the fear that she might never tie the knot. I had a deep fear that I'd never find my person, she revealed, yet she managed to shift her mindset after some introspection, not retrospection, but introspection. She described her new approach. I went in thinking, I'm only looking to meet my husband. They should treat me like a princess. Then dating became fun again. I have to think about that for a second. So she said, I'm only looking to meet my husband. They should treat me like a princess. Then dating began to be fun again. Do you see any issue with that? Not just, I'm just going to, hang loose and have fun.
Yeah.
It was, I'm going to put myself on a pedestal and then you all treat me like a queen. And
right.
Yeah.
Maybe that was why she was having a hard time with dating in the first place.
Yeah. Interesting.
But if someone's telling you that you're going to come across this guy for your soulmate in this amount of time, then you're like specifically looking for this person rather than seeing what happens. You know what I mean? They say like when you think of a yellow car, you'll all of a sudden start seeing a yellow car. But it's like, are you, you're looking for a Mediterranean person, this and this and this. So you're only looking for those.
Yeah.
Those kind of guys.
Right. Then you're looking, yeah, exactly. You're looking for a specific brand, so to speak.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Right. You're not looking anywhere else. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not like organic. It's kind of forceful. It's like, oh, I've got this list of, qualifications, and that's what I'm only going to settle for.
Right. So Echeverria turned to affirmations and manifestations, she said at that point. Supposedly. Okay. She said, I was telling the universe I was going to meet my soulmate, she admitted. Echeverria posted a TikTok in August of 2022 and saw a comment from Snatos. Then she received a DM from Snatos saying he'd recognized her from social media. A few weeks later in September, Vitor messaged to say he was returning to Portugal for a root canal procedure and asked if Nicole would be available for dinner. She said, he looked perfect. We stayed at the restaurant until it closed. The date lasted 7 hours and I felt so at peace. The pair hit it off and officially became a couple in November of 2022. In January of 2023, Echeverria revealed to her now fiance that she had a medium predict him. Echeverria said Snatos was entertained by it and the description sounded a lot like him. To say I had butterflies was an understatement, but it was true. So I could tell that the feeling I had was one I had never experienced before and knew that Nicole was special and later to be my soulmate, Snatos said about the first time meeting Echeverria. He added, I actually only saw the drawing around 5 to 6 months later. We had spoken about it prior, but I never saw it until then. But to say the drawing looked uncanny, well, I think my first words were, damn, but that does look like me, which made me laugh. But I think it just reinforced to Nicole that I was her soulmate and she was mine, Snatos added. The two plan to get married this year on Valentine's Day at the wedding registry office and have a big celebratory wedding party in August. It seems like they took it slow enough, 2023 to now. I mean, or 2022 to now. So at least they didn't like rush into it. It wasn't like a 6-month thing or anything like that. I mean, here's a picture of the two of them. So you kind of get an idea of what they look like.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, as long as they're happy, good for them.
Yeah, cute couple. So, but, you find love in all kinds of weird places, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
At least it wasn't, wasn't in a back alley somewhere. Just thank God for that.
The back of a butcher shop.
Yeah, back of a butcher shop, right. Not that there's anything wrong with that,
No. They just know how to dismember things very easily.
That's right, yeah. You can just end the relationship very quickly.
Yeah.
If you need to.
Not by choice.
Not by choice. Just saying. Well, the time has come, Mallie, to find out why that new study links paranormal beliefs to increased stress levels.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm curious myself. To those who believe in the paranormal, you may be prone to stress, according to researchers. The research, which was headed up by Neil Dagnall of Manchester Metropolitan University and Andrew Donovan of Liverpool John Moores University, involved a statistic analysis of the belief of more than 3,000 British citizens over the age of 18. The researchers focused on two things: traditional paranormal belief, which concerns a belief in spirits and external supernatural forces, and New Age philosophy, which concerns beliefs centered on self-control and improvement, such as meditation and positive energy. The findings indicated that those who were more inclined to believe in spirits and supernatural forces had higher stress levels and were more prone to stress, while those who favored a more New Age approach did not. These results suggest that TPB may reflect a reduced perception of control over external factors, which can increase susceptibility to stress, whereas NAP, due to its focus on more individual issues, does not appear to contribute to these dynamics, Dagnall wrote. Understanding the functional differences between these beliefs is essential to addressing the psychological impact of belief in the paranormal. That said, the researchers concluded that paranormal belief is not casually linked to distress. Rather, the relationship is more nuanced. In some contexts, reduced control may associate positively with TPB, with TPB consequently serving an adaptive function, such as facilitating coping, they wrote. I don't know. What do you think?
Oh, I don't know.
Are you calling bull on it?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I don't see how they're drawing the correlation personally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a little misinformed. And I think it's more of an individual thing too. It depends on personality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think our community would be dropping off quickly.
Yes.
If that was the case.
Now there is one section of our community that tends to die younger, that being exorcists, but otherwise, I mean, people seem to live the same lifespan as everyone else.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. There's no extenuating stress factors that drive anybody to have more stress than anybody else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't know that I necessarily agree with the study. So our next story, Mallie, has to do with a search for the missing MH370 plane that has resumed after more than 11 years, which is interesting, being that we've had all these different aviation mishaps happening in the year 2025. A fresh new search for the missing plane's whereabouts aims to solve the MH370 mystery once and for all. Exactly what happened to Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 after it took off from Kuala Lumpur International Airport on March 8th of 2014. Yes, it's been 11 years, folks.
Wow.
Yeah. Still remains one of the most enduring mysteries in aviation history. The plane had been heading to Beijing Capital International Airport in China, but after a series of unexplained directional changes and the seemingly deliberate disabling of its transponder, the aircraft, along with its passengers and crew, disappeared without a trace, never to be seen again. What followed was one of the most extensive search and rescue operations the world has ever seen, with teams from multiple countries scouring vast areas of open ocean for any sign of the plane's wreckage. It soon became clear, however, that the mystery of what happened to MH370 would not easily be solved. Fast forward to the present, and now a brand new search has been launched, the first in 11 years by a maritime exploration firm called Ocean Infinity, in collaboration with the Malaysian government. The firm is conducting the search on a no-fine, no-fee basis, with the government signing an 18-month contract which agrees to reimburse the company the sum of $70 million if the plane is found.
Wow.
And yeah, that's quite the sum.
Yeah.
Yeah. In total, it will be covering a search area exceeding 15,000 square miles. We're very relieved and pleased that the search is resuming once again after a long hiatus, said Grace Nathan, a family member of one of the victims. It's a sentiment shared by many others who lost loved ones aboard MH370. Over the years, several theories have been put forward in an attempt to explain what could have happened to the airliner. Some believe that the pilot deliberately flew the plane and its passengers to their doom for reasons unknown, while others have suggested that the aircraft may have been hijacked. Whatever the case might be, hopefully this latest search will yield some answers at long last. Did you ever have a theory behind MH370? Do you think the pilot flew the plane on purpose to a different location, or do you think that he crashed it on purpose?
I think my theory was that he crashed it on purpose, that he had hijacked it, and then I don't know if he was trying to not prove a point, but trying to say something about it. But I think he purposely crashed it.
Yeah. I was of the same mind that there was something more nefarious going on. I don't know if it was him directly or if somebody had taken over the plane, but yeah, I had a feeling something nefarious went on with that flight.
Yeah. And it was very eerie to see when they released like photos that families were taking of each other while they were on the plane and sending them, to loved ones, or it was just very, Yeah, it's a sad story indeed. Yeah. I mean, I hope they do find the plane so we have answers, but.
Yeah, same here. There's a new bill out there proposing to make Bigfoot California's official state cryptid. And an elusive cryptozoological creature could soon be given an official status in the state of California. It would seem that every state and country needs its own cryptid, a term used to describe a creature that's rumored to exist, but for which there's no definitive scientific evidence. Scotland, for instance, would undoubtedly consider the Loch Ness Monster to be its official cryptid. But what about the U.S. state of California? Well, earlier this month, Assemblyman Chris Rogers introduced a new bill at the California State Assembly, which, believe it or not, is number 666.
Ooh.
That's the number of the bill. Seeking to designate Bigfoot as the state's official cryptozoological creature. The bill was originally intended as a bit of an inside joke, acting as more of a placeholder to be replaced with official state business at a later date. Instead, it ended up making news across the state and beyond. The joke would be that when we amended the bill, the Bigfoot bill would disappear. It would be elusive. It would go away like Bigfoot in our area is known to do, said Rogers. Ironically, the bill has since gone on to generate far more attention than other more important bills, and has sparked calls for Bigfoot to be genuinely designated as the state's official cryptid. Whether it will actually happen, however, remains to be seen. I think it's going to make it to the floor.
You think so?
Yeah, and I can tell you why. As someone who's formerly worked with politicians, they get busy with things. Not that they get lazy, but they get busy with other things and other more important bits of business. And bills tend to stick in the agenda.
Yeah.
And before you know it, this thing comes up for a vote. And they go, oh, shit, we forgot about that one.
Right.
And they end up voting on it anyways.
Gotcha. So I thought Bigfoot was Oregon's
I think it's
crypto.
I think it's the official cryptid of a lot of different states, or a few different states. So
right.
It wouldn't surprise me if it ends up becoming California's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Last story of the day before we get to our palate cleanser. This one is an unusual story. The story in the Bible is that Moses parted the Red Sea, right? In order to lead his people, right? And get them to safety. Well, it turns out that there are certain death pools that have been discovered where Moses was said to have parted the Red Sea. Scientists have been exploring the depths of the ocean where, according to the Bible, Moses parted the waters. The miraculous parting of the Red Sea has enabled the Israelites to escape from Egypt, and it's one of the best-known biblical stories, a tale that has even made its way to the silver screen, perhaps most notably in the Charlton Heston classic, The Ten Commandments. Today, most biblical scholars and historians believe that the precise location of the crossing, which is the spot where the waters parted, was somewhere along the modern-day Gulf of Aqaba, which is situated in the northern tip of the Red Sea. As it turns out, however, there is more to this stretch of water than just its historical significance. Recently, a new study headed up by Sam Purkis of the Department of Marine Geosciences at the University of Miami discovered the presence of deadly brine pools 4,000 feet beneath the surface. These pools, which are located via a remote operated submersible, contain 10 times the level of salt found in the surrounding water, meaning that any marine life that happens to venture into them will be starved of oxygen and die.
Ugh.
Yeah. According to the team, these conditions mimic the environment in which the first life forms emerged on Earth several billion years ago and could help us to better understand how life came to be. The lack of creatures within the salt pools has also helped to preserve the sediment. Ordinarily, these animals bioturbate or churn up the seabed, disturbing the sediments that accumulate there, said Perkis. Not so with the brine pools. Here, any sedimentary layers that settle to the bed of the brine pool remain exquisitely intact. As for Moses parting the Red Sea, however, sadly no evidence of this has been found by the team so far. This brings up something interesting, Mallie, and I'm almost wanting to call up Timothy Hogan and ask him about these brine pools.
Okay.
Or death pools, as they're called. That maybe they don't have death to them at all. Maybe this is the building block of life, or what Timothy Hogan called manna.
Okay.
Manna is not wheat. Manna is actually salt. And within manna or salt, and a certain kind of salt, and as Timothy Hogan explained on this program, you can find it in the archives at darknessradioshow.com. You're able to break open this salt crystal, and there's a little red fluid inside of it, which is the building block of life.
Oh, okay.
It's called manna. And again, manna is found in salt. It's not found in wheat. It's a common misnomer or a common misconception. And I wonder, and again, that red in the Red Sea was that bit of red that was in the salt.
Okay.
So I wonder if that isn't what we're talking about here. You know what I mean? And that manna does amazing things. And again, go back and listen to, for those of you who are interested and are wondering, go back and listen to Timothy Hogan's show. He can still manufacture manna to this day. He still knows the way to manufacture it. He still has the recipe. And when you take his tours, which I believe Mike Ricksecker actually hosts some of those tours too, or works for that same company. They give you, or at least when Timothy hosts his tours, he gives you a little bit of manna to try.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And it has incredible healing properties. It keeps you, it nourishes you like there's no tomorrow. But for some reason, in the current world, we don't use it. So, but it's very interesting, for sure. All right, our palate cleanser for today, Mallie. We started off with food. We'll end with food. How does that sound?
Sounds great.
All right. Well, whenever somebody says to you the next time, would you like a little cheese with your wine? And they think you're complaining, say, you know what? Not only would I know where to find a huge amount of it.
Okay.
The world's largest cheese fondue was cooked up recently in France.
Oh, I love fondue.
Yeah, don't you? I love it too. Yeah. A French cheese company set a world record recently and bested an unofficial record set by a Swiss rival by cooking up 4,800 pounds of cheese fondue.
Oh, delish.
Yeah, nothing says colon blockage like 4,800 pounds of cheese fondue, right?
Oh my gosh, could you imagine if we were lactose intolerant?
Oh. Boy, that would destroy you. The Giroflore company took on the Guinness World Record for the largest cheese fondue at Fort de Rousses in the village of Les Rousses. The massive copper cauldron used for the attempt was filled with 40 wheels of, is it Comté cheese? Variously matured from 9, 15, and 21 months. Oh, that sounds delicious. The fondue chefs then added Chardonnay and Sauvignon white wines.
Ooh.
4.4 pounds of garlic, 3.3 pounds of white pepper, and about 121 pounds of cornstarch. Oh, tell me that wasn't tasty. The company's chefs used a giant food processor to mix the ingredients and ensure a smooth result. The finished fondue weighed in at 4,800 pounds, Mal, surpassing their goal of 4,495 pounds. They overshot.
Wow.
Tell me that isn't an interesting dinner. A Guinness World Records adjudicator was on hand to certify it was a new world record for the largest cheese fondue. Giroflore also bested an unofficial record set by Switzerland's La Chaux de Fonds, which cooked up a 3,175-pound serving of cheese fondue in 2009.
Ooh.
So with all that talk, are you thinking about a cheese fondue right now?
Oh, I freaking love cheese. Little baguettes, a little meat.
Telling you. And I know there's what is it the Copper Pot that's here in Minneapolis? I know there's a really good fondue restaurant. I'm overdue to go. So yeah, might have to make an appointment. So that'll do it for today's program. What's going on with paranormalgirl.com these days?
Just check it out. So I recently went to an antique store and purchased some items that I'm going to try and find the history of and maybe do a little thing about them.
Oh, very good.
But yeah.
Very good, very good. All right, so check out paranormalgirl.com. Of course, Mallie can be seen on the Science Channel, Strange Evidence, so check those reruns out as well. I know Paranormal Night Shift has been playing a lot recently. People have been saying, I see you on TV. So, I don't know, Discovery Channel, you can see me, I guess, on little reruns of Paranormal Night Shift.
You'll never age.
That's right. I'll also never lose weight like I have recently either. I've got my tubby little maw on Paranormal Night Shift. I'm almost hoping for a second season so I can redeem myself.
Exactly. We'll just have to create our own show to be like, this is how we look now.
That's right. That's right. Tomorrow on the big program, Katrina Weidman and Heather Taddy will be with us. We'll be traveling the dead tomorrow. We'll be talking about the recent season. That's going to be a good time. We're going to talk a lot about investigations. We're going to talk about how things have changed in the world of digital media and how they've gained this massive following, Mallie. My God. They are killing it out there. So we're going to talk about life after paranormal TV.
Very cool.
With those two ladies. They are absolutely cleaning up. So we're going to talk about their huge success. So that's what we're going to do tomorrow on the big program. Reminder that the Darkness Radio store is open at darknessradioshow.com. Be sure to check it out. The Apple app, if you don't have the Apple app, Darkness Radio Apple app, if you have an iPhone, iPad, any Apple device, download it at the Apple Store, please. And if you're not already subscribing to the show on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you're subscribing to the show, you can do it through that app. Please do so. Also, if you're listening to the show on audio, you can also watch us on video. You can do so by going to the official Darkness Radio on YouTube. If you don't know how to find it on YouTube, simply go to darknessradioshow.com. Find the show that you want to listen or watch. It's all in one category. When you click on that show, you'll see the video on top. You'll see the audio on the bottom. That's one of the cool things about darknessradioshow.com is we keep it all in one place. So you'll be able to find one or the other. But if you want to find the video on YouTube, find the video on YouTube and like and subscribe, please. We're looking to grow the show in video right there in YouTube. So the official Darkness Radio, go like and subscribe. We want to grow our following there. So that'll do it for today. Again, tomorrow, Katrina Weidman and Heather Taddy will be traveling the dead on tomorrow's show. For Mallie Fox, I'm Tim Dennis. Thank you so much for watching and listening to the best in paranormal podcasting. Oh, by the way, our executive producer today, Troy Palmer. Thank you, Troy, for everything you do. We'll see you tomorrow. We're traveling the dead right here on the best in paranormal podcasting. This is Darkness Radio.